Okay, I hope my screen is visible. Are we good to proceed? Everyone type S in the chat box. Everyone please type S in the chat box. Everyone, come on. Yes, everyone type S in the chat box. I want this session to be interactive. Everyone. Okay, good, we are good to proceed. So, we will be discussing a new topic today, which is the final keyword in Java. Final keyword in Java. So this is one of the very important topics in Java, especially when you are representing a variable or a class or a method, a Java method. So before even proceeding with the final keyword in Java, we will just do a small recap. So yesterday we were discussing about the singleton class in Java. Okay, so just keep in mind, okay, the moment you hear the singleton class, okay, what are the things that you need to get into your mind is, firstly, it is a class. It is a typical Java class which is used to, which will allow you to create object only once. Singleton. That's why it is called a singleton. Okay, where is it? Okay. If any Java class allows you to create an object only one time, it is called a singleton class. It's our responsibility to design a class in such a way that that class is going to allow us to create object only once. Okay, we have discussed this approaches yesterday. Okay, and the latest approach, I mean, so this is from approach 3 we have achieved the singleton class. What we have done, we have taken a private constructor, right? And we initialized a variable, okay, that is going to, it has a null value has been assigned to this particular variable, and the object is being created with the get reference method. Okay, inside this get reference method there are conditional check. Okay, so why the specificity, why we are specifying especially about this conditional check, why we are doing the conditional check? Okay, this conditional check is meant for creating an object only once if the object was never created. Okay, if the object is created already, it is going to return its reference value. Since it is a static, okay, these things will happen behind the scenes. We know this, we have discussed this already. Okay, the first thing that needs to come into your mind is when you hear singleton, very simple. It any Java class, if it is allowing you to create object only one time, it is called a singleton. And again, there are two types of singleton initialization. Okay, one is lazy initialization, second one is eager initialization. So where is it? Yeah, eager initialization and the lazy initialization. Okay, so eager means you just directly, instead of assigning a null value, you just directly create an object and return its instance. This is called eager. Lazy means the example that we have discussed. That's it. Singleton is done. Okay, if you revise once again, these things will make more sense. Okay, shall we proceed? Okay, notes are mentioned in the description. I hope you are able to take those notes. Today the topic is going to be the final keyword in Java. Okay, usually the final keyword in Java, we can use the final keyword in Java in three contexts. Okay, so before even discussing about the final keyword, let me help you with a small analogy. Okay, so for example, sometimes, okay, if you want to give any kind of information, okay, if you want to open a bank account, you want to open what? You want to open a bank account with a specific bank. It can be any bank. Let us say that the name of the bank is ABC Bank. The name of the bank is ABC Bank. Okay, once the account is opened with the ABC Bank, you would remain the customer of ABC Bank, yes or no? You will be a customer of ABC Bank once you have opened this account. Okay, this is going to be you. Okay, and you will be identified, you in the sense the customer, in the customer context, you will be identified with usually one could be identified, especially when you take the bank as an example, You as a customer would be identified not with your name, you would be identified with your account number. Yes or no? Account number, right? A customer can be identified with account number, right? And a customer can also be identified with his phone number nowadays. With this what? Phone number. I was typing my phone number. With the phone number, or the customer can be identified by the customer cannot be identified with Aadhaar card number. Thus banking, as per the banking rules, they need the account number, or if you have forgotten your account number or things related to account number, they require your phone number or the email address, right? And they cannot identify you. These are the things that is required for your identification, but they cannot identify you. Even though you are the customer of the bank, you cannot be identified with your name, you cannot be identified with your I can say address, okay, you cannot be identified with your color, things like that. These things are not required. I mean, not this is not going to give the specific identification, when you are a customer of a particular bank, right? Don't you think that these identification details are going to be the fixed one? It cannot be changed forever. Especially if you are a customer of ABC bank, the ABC bank is going to be fixed, right? The name of the bank is going to be fixed. It cannot be changed. It is a constant. It cannot be changed at all. Okay, it is going to be same for you, and it is going to be same for all the customers. Don't you think so? It's going to be same for all the customers who have opened the account with ABC bank. Yes or no? Okay, customer 1, even for him, his name of the bank is ABC bank. Customer 2, even for him, the name of the bank is ABC bank. Likewise, the bank can have n number of customers. For all the n number of customers, the name of the bank is going to be same. Okay, this particular data can be in Java, can be initialized with the final keyword. When you find any constant data which cannot be changed forever, okay, you can initialize that data, you can assign that data to a particular data type along with the final keyword. What does it mean? It is representing a constant value. Likewise, your account number is also going to be constant. You cannot say that I want to change my account number. It is not possible because it is not with the manager. Okay, even though if you approach the manager and if you ask him, I don't like my account number, can I have a change? Because by Vastu or by astrological nature, it is not good for me. The bank person is going to say what? It is not in my hands. Once the account number is generated, it is already generated, so changes cannot be done. Right? But you have an option to change your phone number. As well as you have an option to change the email address. Okay, so you cannot represent these two fields with the final keyword, but this can be represented with the final keyword because it is going to be unique. Okay, the things where you think that the data cannot be changed anymore, there is a less chances, there is a least probability to change the data. If you have such kind of data, you can represent the data with the final keyword. As simple as that. Are you getting this, everyone? Why we use final? Yes, no? Come on, answer. Everyone, I want your response, please. Okay. So what is a final keyword? Okay, the Java final keyword can be used in many contexts. The Java final keyword can be used in many contexts. Okay, the final keyword, I can say that they can be used in many contexts such as, first one, a variable can be final. Second one, a method can be final. And the third one, the classes, Java class can be a final thing. Okay, you can define a variable with a final keyword, you can define a method with final keyword, and you can define the class with final keyword. That's it. Only these three things can be represented with the final keyword. Can we represent a constructor with the final keyword? This could be the question. This could be the question. Okay. The question could be, can we define a constructor, Java constructor, to be specific? Can we define a Java constructor with final keyword? No, we cannot. Answer is no. Why answer is no? You can define the final keyword only for 3 entities. What are they? One is variable, second one is method, third one is class. As simple as that. For a constructor, if you get this question, the answer is no. Why it is no? You can define the final variables, final keyword in these 3 entities. Only in the 3 entities, I can say. Only in the case. What are they? Variables, methods, and classes. That's it. This could be your interview question. I'm just giving it to you. The questions could be in such a way that it will actually create a confusion. You might be wondering, okay, it could be possible. Okay, so we don't get things in mind exactly. So just remember these 3 things. Okay, 3 entities: variables, methods, and classes. As simple as that. Right? Let us understand Java final variable. First thing, Java final variable. Okay, please be informed that whenever a Java variable is declared as a final, the value of the variable cannot be changed. Very simple. Okay, self-explanatory. No explanation is required. Okay, it is very simple. For example, if I have a variable, okay, integer a equal to 100. Okay, this is a instance variable, yes or no? This is what? Instance variable. Okay, and you can do n number of modifications with the instance variable. Possible. This 100 can be manipulated to any other value. You can reassign the value of 100 to 200. You can do this, or else you can perform some mathematical operations on top of the value variable 100. Okay, so this is the initialization. During the initialization, the value is already assigned to the variable a. The value is 100. It doesn't mean that this 100 can be fixed forever. You can change this as per the business logic. Now it can be 100, tomorrow it can be 200, because the variable identity is a itself. Day after tomorrow can be something like this, mathematical operations. You can do such modifications. Okay, but if you have a requirement like the variable cannot be modified, the variable modification should be restricted. Okay, how many modifications we have done here? This is initialization, this is modification 1, and here we have modification 2, right? 2 modifications. Okay, like that we can do n number of modification. No issues. But if you want to restrict this, if you want to restrict the modification, very simple, just put a final keyword, right? Just put a final keyword. That's it. Now this is also instant variable, but final. This is also a final variable, I can say, right? So this variable says, okay, and if you try to do this, you get error. Instead of, if you try to do the modification, of course you cannot do the modification. Why you cannot do the modification? Because it is a final variable. You get what? Error. You get error, right? Another example, let us say I have a for loop. Okay, just tell me if this is valid or invalid. Integer I equal to 0, I is lesser than or equal to 10, I plus plus. Okay, So this for loop is going to execute some instructions repeatedly. System dot out dot println. Okay, it is going to print the value of I itself, right? Of course. Okay, let us keep this to 5. Okay, this is possible. The output is going to be what? Output is going to be 0. Sorry, let us keep by. Okay, the output is going to be like this: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We know this already. This is possible. But when you do this, okay, this is possible. So when you declare this initialization part with the final keyword, okay, this will give you error. Don't you think so? This will give you an error because it is not possible, because the variable that we are assigning it in the beginning is declared with the final keyword. It means this is a constant. You cannot increment the variable. The changes are happening here. You cannot increment the variable. Yes or no? Incrementation is not possible. Okay, so let us write a small Java program. Okay, let me change the directory: cd space java 3. Right, so let me open my folder java 3. Let us remove all this. Okay, delete. So I have a class here. I have class test. I have two classes. I have a class A and I have a class test. Inside the class A, I have what? I have a variable like integer a equal to 100. Okay, so instead of taking class A, I can say, okay, let us take that example as bike. Okay, bike speed is fixed to 50 kilometers per hour. 50 kilometers per hour. Void, right? Void. Let us say that if Ganesh is riding this bike, okay, Ganesh may or may not stick to this. So what he does, Ganesh is going to set his own limit. Speed equal to 100. Okay, system dot out dot println, right? So speed. Very simple logic, no? Very simple logic. I have a variable. Okay, the name of the variable is speed, and the class name is bike. Okay, so if the bike is, if the rules and regulations are represented like this, okay, if there is any speed restriction, but if you restrict the speed in such a way that if the variable is not specified with the final keyword, so there are some things, some violation can happen. Think it from the computer perspective. Okay, some violation could happen, right? What is such violation? So I need to create an object for bike b equal to new bike. Okay, b dot Ganesh. Okay, now what is the output if I run this code? Come on, put it in the chat box. What is output if I run this code? Okay, you don't take, I don't think you will take much time on this. Please don't take much time on this. A very simple question. Meanwhile, I will perform the compilation. Java C space -d space. What is the test dot? Okay, I need to save this, isn't it? Test.java. Java space xyz dot 100. Any answers? Yeah, only one person has answered. Answer is 100. What difficulty is here? Right, object is created for bike. We are executing what we are calling the Ganesh method. Okay, Ganesh method has one variable inside, speed equal to 100. This value will be printed. That's it, right? Okay, don't you think that the initial speed limit was 50? Ganesh is able to change this speed limit to 100. Okay, if you want to restrict Ganesh, if you want to restrict Ganesh to stick to the exact speed limit, which is 50, then you will do what? Final keyword. The moment you include final keyword, okay, compilation will not be successful because you cannot perform any modifications. Here, one modification is happening. Right? Let me compile this. You get what? Cannot assign a value to the final variable speed. Yeah, it says it is giving you the what kind of restriction is happening here, because the variable is final. It means that you cannot do any modification. You have to remove this. Right? Let me include this example. Okay. Example 1. Okay, now let us take another example. This time I'm removing this. Okay, I'm taking a for loop. Okay, I'm taking a for loop inside the Ganesh method. Okay, inside this for loop I'm taking 3 expressions: expression 1, expression 2, expression 3, and the body of the loop. We know this already. Okay, the expression 1 is speed itself. Okay, the expression 1 is integer speed equal to 50. Okay, let us keep it as speed. Okay, speed is lesser than or equal to 10. Okay, speed plus system dot out dot println. Okay, I'm trying to print the speed itself. Firstly, let us remove this final variable. Let us understand the execution process. Then we will include the final variable to see if there is any changes in the output. Okay, I have to save this, right? I did not save this. Right, same program. For loop. Okay. I'm missing a parsing. Okay, this is Ganesh method. This is method block. I'm sorry. Installation is already done. Very simple. I am taking a method Ganesh. Okay, inside this method I have taken a for loop, simple for loop. We have discussed about this for loop. You know, we have been discussing about the for loop for a long time. So inside this I am declaring a variable as speed equal to 50. Okay, and this variable is getting compared with the value. Let us do it as 60. Okay, comparison is happening. Expression 2, conditional check is happening here. After this, body of the loop will get executed. Then this expression 3 is going to get executed. Okay, we know the sequence already, right? So the moment I run this, so we will be getting output like 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 56. Okay, we know this already. Okay, the moment I declare the final keyword here, okay, we are going to get what? We are going to get an error because you cannot assign a variable value to the final variable speed. Because here we are assigning the value, but we are doing a violation. What violation we are doing? We are trying to perform some manipulations on the speed variable. Where is the manipulation is happening here? Here, don't you think that the manipulation is happening here? Okay, manipulation is getting happened here. We are trying to change the speed variable on top of the final keyword. That's why we are getting this error. Now you tell me, if I remove this, okay, if I do remove this, okay, I don't know who is going to give me the right answer. what is the output? Is this the valid one or an invalid one? Okay, I am not doing any manipulation here. The moment I do the manipulation, I am going to get error. That's why I have removed expression 3 here. I have expression 1 which is a final variable, and I have an expression 2 which is a conditional check, and I have some instructions placed in the for loop, right? And I don't have anything here, right? If I try to execute this code, what could be the output, guys? Please help me with the output. 100, 100, 100. Is it the latest one? Got my question? Anyone help me with the output? Or do we get any error here? If you are not getting any error, do we get any kind of an infinite output, something like that? Okay, what are your thoughts here? We know that this is going to get executed for sure. We are calling the Ganesh method here. This will definitely get executed. This Ganesh method is going to get executed. You need to think about the for loop. Only you need to put concentration on this for loop, whether this is a valid for loop or not, because you may get a confusion. What confusion you may get here? The variable is final, right? And this final is set, I mean initialized for the variable speed, right? But we are not doing any manipulations here, right? Yes or no? Anyone? Valid for loop. Good, Ratna Kumar. Okay, error. Why error we will get? Okay, if you are saying error, okay, it is completely agreed. Okay, but please also give the answers. Okay, we will get infinite for loop. Don't you think so? Do you agree with me? Your for loop is valid, guys. This for loop is completely valid. This for loop is, we don't have any issues with the for loop. Don't you think so? Do we have any issues with this for loop? Valid for loop. Why do we get an error here? This is a valid for loop. Why it is a valid for loop? You don't get any error. Because of this final keyword, you will not get it, because this final keyword is never touched here. This is expression 1. Okay, expression 1 is what? Initialization, right? Speed is initialized to the value 50. Expression 2 is a conditional check, right? 50 will get compared with the value 60. It is going to return true. Third, body of the for loop will get executed. Speed means 50 will be printed in the console. Expression 3, nothing is there in expression 3. It means what? It will be skipped. Don't you think so? Expression 3 is incomplete. It is optional, right? If expression 3 is optional, again the control will come to expression 2. Don't you think that the control will be moving back and forth from expression 2 to body of the loop? Right? Don't you think that these two will keep repeating, so that infinite for loop will get executed? Yes or no? That's why the output is going to be 50, 50, 50 every time, because there is no expression 3 to do the incrementation. There is no expression 3 to do the incrementation. So this value is going to be 50 forever, and this is going to return true forever, and this is going to be printing 50 forever. Making sense? One of the popular interview questions. Everyone are getting this? Good, Chaitanya. Yeah. Okay. So this is one more example on top of final variable, right? And one more example could be like this. Okay. So let me remove this. Okay. Instead of bike, I am taking the class as A itself. Okay. For the better observation. Okay, the name of the class is A. So I can have a final variable for what? I can use the final keyword for instance variable. This is the final keyword that is being used on top of instance variables, which is, don't you think that this is an instance variable? Okay, I can do this. Integer b equal to 300. I can do this. This is a static variable. I can use the final keyword on top of what? On top of static variables as well. No issues. I can do this also. I can do this for the instance variable. I can also do this for the static variable. Final keyword. Right? But what difference that is going to make if I use the final keyword for static variable? What we can achieve? We can achieve shareability. Remember this. Shareability, and it is going to be constant up to the class level. Up to the class level. Okay, this is going to be constant, not shareability. This is going to be constant up to the object level. What does it really mean? So you are saying the class level and you are also saying the object level. What does it really mean? We will understand this, right? What is the exact difference between these two? What difference that it is going to make? We are going to understand it. Okay, so in order to access the instance variables, do you agree that I need to create an object a obj equal to new a? I need to create an object to access the instance variable. Of course, we have declared the final keyword, no issues. But to access this, object creation is mandatory. Even after creating the object, system.out.println, it is not going to allow me to perform any manipulations. For example, if I do this obj dot a, I'm using the object preference, I'm accessing the variable a, which is of instance variable. Instead of using 100, I'm trying to do the manipulation, modifying this to 200. Okay, so obj dot a. When I do this, definitely I will get an error. Definitely I will get an error. See, it says cannot assign a value to the final variable because it is final. It is final. Okay, but I can do this. I can directly access. Accessing wise, no problem, but you cannot assign. You can access the variable. 1 minute. System.out. It's println, right? Syntactical mistake. It is not related to my statement. Apologize. Okay, 100. Right? We are able to access, but we are not able to do the modification. Okay, but this is the first object. I can create n number of objects. A obj 2 equal to new a. Even for the object 2, even for the new object, okay, the moment I do this obj 2 dot a, okay, the value is going to be same, right? So I cannot do the modification. I have only one option with the final variable. What I can do, I can access that. That's it. I can access. Okay, even if you create a number of objects, you can able to access the final variable with the object reference. Yes or no? With the object reference. Don't you think that this is going to be the code is not being concise here, right? So if I remove this final keyword, if I have an option, right? So I have an option. What option I have? For each and every object, I can perform some manipulations. For example, for the object A, I can do a manipulation according to my requirement. According to my requirement. Right? For the object 2, obj2 with this reference, I can do the manipulations according to my requirement. I can change this value according to my requirement. Right? For example, if you are visiting a hotel, okay. No, the you know that sometimes there are some union leaders, especially for the hotels. Okay, they set the actual price tags. If you want to tea, the union leaders, okay, they set the value of tea to 10. The price of tea is going to be 10 throughout the some states. Throughout the state, the price of the tea is going to be 10 because the association will discuss and everyone will stick to these rules. The price is going to be 10 for a tea. Okay, so in some hotels, in the hotel 1, they don't like this price. They don't like this price. What they do? Okay, why I need to follow? I want to make more money. So hotel 1 dot t equal to, they do 12. They modify. Okay, so hotel 1 dot t. The price of the tea is going to be 12. In the hotel 2, What will do? What they do? So they made it 12. I want to make it to 15. I want to do a lot of business, so I want to make it to hotel 2 dot t. The price of the tree is going to be 15 for the hotel 2. Okay, so this is placed according to the guidelines. Okay, so but these guidelines are not being followed. This can be changed with respect to each object. So this is hotel 1 object. Hotel 1 object as an option to do changes. Hotel 2 object as an option to do some changes, manipulations, right? So if I do final, everyone has to stick to this. This cannot be done. This needs to be followed. Everyone has to, the price of the tea is going to be 10 to all the voters under the union, right? Even if you create 100 objects, for the 100 object, the price of the tea is going to be 10. So it is available for all the object. So instead of doing this, shareability, instead of giving shareability like this, you can give the shareability with the help of static variable. You can give the shareability with the help of static variable. Anyhow, it cannot be modified. Okay, but keep it as static. If you keep this as static, what is an advantage that we have? Object creation is not required. This is not required. This is also not required. Okay, directly with the help of class name a dot t, you can able to access without the object creation, and this is available for all the classes, all the objects. Even though if you want to do the object creation, no issues. If you want to do the object creation, no issues. This value is going to be remain for all the classes, all the objects. Okay, that's why it is highly recommended whenever you are using the final keyword, it is highly recommended to use the final keyword along with the static keyword. Okay, this both has to go together. Okay, and the perfect naming convention. Okay, since it is a constant, right? Since it is a constant, and we need to make it available to all the classes. We need to make it available to all the classes. So declare this as public. This is how you typically define a final variable. This is the naming convention. This is how the procedure is to define a final variable. It cannot be just final, right? Since the value is going to be constant forever, make it a static. It will be available to all the objects. Since it is being available to all the objects with respect to a particular class, make it public. Constant, no, it cannot be modified. Is there any security threat here? It cannot be modified. Make it as public, right? So I can say it like the final variable as a should be declared with the along with the static keyword with the public access modifier, as it is a constant, as it is representing a constant value. Constant value. You may be thinking, where is the security? Security is there for the value. This value is protected. This value is protected, of course. Don't you think so that this value is protected? Yes, it is protected. You cannot change this value. But access is available to all. Shareability is there. I can say that security is there plus shareability. You can access this value, no issues. You cannot change this value. Security is coming into the picture. Okay, accessing, it can be accessed from anywhere. Shareability is coming into the picture. It is representing both. Making sense about the final keyword with respect to variables? Come on, type in the chat box. Is it making sense? Yes, no? Good. I want a response from everyone. Okay. Okay, now final keyword with yes. Okay, before even understanding this about the final keyword with respect to methods, let me also help you to understand this. Okay. See, I am taking a variable, guys. I am taking a final variable, final integer a equal to 100. I am taking. No, I am just performing the what initialization. I mean declaration. I have declared the variable. That's it. Okay. I have just declared the variable. But now you see, now you focus here. Before even understanding this, static integer a equal to a. Now you tell me if this is valid or invalid. Println a. You forgot about this class A. Okay, I have taken a static variable. Okay, this is a final static variable. Okay, I am just performing the declaration. So values are not yet initialized here. Declaration part is done here. Okay, so the moment I try to access this variable, of course the value has to be null. Okay, see what it says. Variable a not initialized in the default constructor. Okay, static final integer a. Okay, let us keep this example aside. Okay, the moment I do this, we are getting something in the output. Okay, the moment I do this, I am performing the initialization declaration as well as the value is completely initialized here. Okay, the moment I do this, so the output is going to be what? Completely the value of output is being displayed in the console. Okay, but for a static, if the variable is static, it is asking us to perform the initialization. I cannot do this. Because if the variable is static, this value needs to be initialized for sure. Because the moment I do this, I'm getting an error here. Okay, variable a not initialized in the default constructor static. So it is asking us to do the initialization. To understand this better, what I'm trying to do is I'm taking a constructor here. So I'm taking a value as focus here. This is where the actual topic starts. Integer a equal to 100. Okay. So instead of doing it 100, I am taking integer a, just the declaration, not the initialization. I am keeping this variable as final. I want to initialize this variable through constructor. Is it possible or not possible? This is the interview question. I want to initialize this variable through the constructor. This is the constructor. I want to perform the initialization for the final variable. Okay, what I'm trying to do here, integer a, this dot a equal to a. Constructor topic. Don't ask me what is this. This is the constructor topic we have discussed already, right? So I want to initialize the value, some value to the constructor. I need to create an object, don't you think so? A obj equal to new a. This constructor cannot be blank because here we have a constructor that is accepting a parameter of what type? Integer type. So I need to pass some value that is supposed to be an integer value. I'm passing 100. The moment I pass 100 to 100 here in this parameter, this constructor is going to extract this value 100. Okay, this 100 will get this 100 will be replaced with for a. So this is going to be assigned to the final variable. Is this possible or not possible? That's my question. Hope you're getting my question. So okay, before even understanding this, just answer me what could be the answer for this. What could be the answer for this? Answer for this. obj dot a. Come on, answer me. What is the? Do you agree with Chaitanya, everyone? Everyone? Very simple question, guys. It's a constructor topic. And so this value is assigned to the variable a, and I'm trying to access this variable. Okay. Let me remove the final keyword. Okay. If I remove the final keyword, what is the output now? Output is going to be 100 itself. Output is going to be what? 100 is the output, right? So if I do this, do we get error or do we get the same 100 as the output? That's my question. Now this is the final variable now. Okay, so declaration part is done, initialization is not yet done here. Okay, now the question is, if I change it to the final variable, do I get the output or do I get an error? That's the question, because I was telling you that you cannot assign a value to the final variable. Okay, here we are trying to assign a value to the final variable. Is it possible or not possible? That is the interview question. You can type yes, it is possible, or if you think it is not possible, you can type it is not possible. Everyone, Ratra Kumar says it is possible. What about others? Possible. What about others? Okay, everyone are saying possible. Okay, of course it is possible. Of course it is possible, but you should be getting a question, right? What question you should be getting? It is a final variable. Okay, initially the value of I. Okay, let us try to do this in the paint script. Okay, so this is our program. Right, so we know the compilation of the execution part. I'm skipping that. So first constructor 10 is being called. Before even calling this constructor, what usually happens, the instance variable will be initialized, yes or no? Okay, we have one instance variable which is integer I equal I and a. I mean, the variable a is defined with the data type integer. The variable a is defined with the data type integer, right? So initially the value of a is going to be null, right? Value of a is going to be null. Okay, and we are doing what? We are calling a constructor, a parameterized constructor, and passing a value 100. Okay, now this 100 will be assigned to this variable null. I mean, replacing the variable null. Okay, don't you think that this is a final variable and we are performing some changes here? Are you not getting this doubt? It is like we are able to do the modification on top of the final variable which was previously null, and we are assigning a value 100. We are doing a modification here. Don't you think so? This is a breach, don't you think so? But still we are able to get the output. Right? If you get this kind of question in the interview room, okay, the answer can be what? Very straightforward. Okay, this concept is called as the blank final. This concept is called as what? The blank final. I will tell you what does it mean. This interview question, blank final concept. Okay, what does it mean actually, the blank final? Okay, blank final usually refers to a final variable that is not initialized. This is a final variable that is not initialized. The theory is blank final refers to a variable that is not initialized when declared, but you have an option to assign a value later. It's like, but we have an option to assign a value later, especially through the constructor. Especially through what? Through the constructor. Then now you should remember one thing. Once the value is assigned, once the value is assigned, once the value is assigned, once the right value is not default value, once the actual value is assigned, it cannot be changed. This is the takeaway. This is the takeaway. This is called as what? Blank final variable. Okay. You usually assign these final variables through the constructors. Through the constructors. Okay. So here we have an option to do the assignation. So I cannot do this. Do you think that? Now can you tell me the output? Previously the value is now 1000 here. I am trying to reassign a value 100 here. So by looking at this theory, don't you think that do you think that this is possible or not? By looking at this theory, do you think that this is possible or not possible? Come on, everyone. Okay, everyone, are you getting my question? The theory says the blank final variable refers to a variable that is not initialized. Think this, that is not initialized. Here we have initialized the variable. Initialization has been done. If it is not initialized, it is a blank variable. If it is initialized, it is not a blank variable. It is a violation. Don't you think so? Not possible. Do you agree with Ratna Kumar? Everyone? Don't you think that there is a violation here with my statement? My statement said it is not initialized. If it is not initialized, you can consider it as a blank variable. It is initialized, guys. Now you cannot assign the variable. So this is a different concept. The value is already initialized. This is not a blank variable anymore. Not a blank variable anymore. If you get this question by, they would ask you, they would manipulate you. Okay. This is possible. This is a blank variable. It's a direct blank variable because the value is not yet assigned. Okay. You are taking a constructor to assign a value. You are using a constructor to assign a value. Agree. The rule is satisfied. There is no violation. There is no breaching. Okay. My statement is matching with the program. No violation. But when you do this, it's a violation, right? My statement is not matching with the program. Violation. It is assigned. Now you get an error. Don't you think so? Okay. I am placing this for you. Violation. Okay. Now another picture here. Okay. Now do you agree that this is valid, right? This is completely valid. Okay. Now you tell me this is valid or not valid. This is valid or not valid. Okay. You can try your answers. If you think that your answer is valid, you can give the justification, or else you can directly say I don't know. That's it. But people have to type something in the chat box so that I will understand your understanding. That's the reason why I'm asking you guys, not to test your knowledge or not to test my knowledge, right? Good, Samyukta. This is good answer. This cannot be used for the static. Good. Ratna Kumar says valid. Good. Good. Okay, what? Let us run this code and see what happens. See, we are getting you cannot assign a value because this concept is not applicable for the static variables. This concept is not applicable for the final static variable, right? The moment you use final static variables, and if you want to use this, But if you, and you also want to ensure that this code is working, what manipulations can we do as a programmer? Okay, this is final. It clearly says it's not applicable, cannot assign a value to a final variable, right? But when I do this, it is happy to compiler is very happy to execute this code. When I remove the static keyword, no issues I am facing. But the moment I put static keyword, okay, it is talking about the rules and regulations. Why it was not there for instance variable? Why it is not? Why it is there for static variable? Okay, you can use static variable, but this is not the way to initialize the static variable. See, okay, this part is the error, error code. Why error code? You have used a static keyword, but when you remove this, it is working. When I remove the static keyword, it is working. But when I put static keyword, the moment I put static keyword, it is not working. We are getting an error. What error we are getting? We are getting this error. Okay, this is not applicable for static variable. First conclusion. By looking at this error, we can say that this is not applicable for static variable. Only for instance variable, it is applicable. For instance variable, you can say that blank variable. Okay, if you want to make it work, if I want to make this code work, okay, can I do this? Can we do this? Let's see. I am trying to assign the value by using the static block. Very simple. Earlier the value was being assigned through the constructor, so I think that's the reason why we are getting this error. So what I'm trying to do, let us guys, my screen is visible. Thanks for rejoining. Thanks for rejoining. My screen is visible. Okay, so I was telling, see, we were getting an error. So let us do some modification. Okay, I am trying to do the declaration part is done. Okay, now I am trying to do the initialization part by using the static block here. Oh, okay. So what I'm doing, a equal to 100, I'm saying. Now can you tell me, are we going to face issues here? Any issues here? Let me remove this constructor. Since it is a static member, the static member, okay, the static members can be initialized by using the class name. So I'm using a dot a. Using a dot a. What are your inputs, guys? What are your inputs? What are your thoughts? Okay, here only a declaration part is completed. I am initializing this variable a by using the static block. Okay, what we know, what we have thought about the static blocks and static variables, they get recognized and executed at the time of loading the bytecode to the memory. At the time of loading what? At the time of loading the bytecode to the memory. Right? Let us run this. What is its output? 100. Let's do 1000. 1000. So what is the conclusion here? If you want to initialize a blank variable, blank final variable, and if it is a static, you cannot use a constructor, but you can use static block. Very simple. If it is a non-static, you can use a constructor. Are you getting this, everyone? Yes, no? If it is a non-static variable, very simple, guys. If it is a non-static, Okay, if it is a non-static, definitely I need to use the constructor to do the initialization. Okay, if I let us do this violation. Okay, so this is a non-static variable. I am using the static block to initialize the non-static variable. I'm using the static block to initialize what? To initialize the non-static variable. The non-static variables cannot be referenced to the static. We are getting this error. So I'm making this static. It will work. What is the conclusion? If it is a blank static variable, it's a blank final variable. Blank final variable. Blank final static variable. I'm sorry, static variable. I can use the static block to perform the initialization. Only once I can do. Only for the first time I can do. Can I do this? Now it will work or it will not work? Tell me now. This is also a popular interview question. That's why I'm asking you. Okay. What are our inputs? By the definition, will it work or will it not work? So here initialization has already be happened here. Okay, I'm trying to do the reinitialization with the value 200 here. Yes, no, yes, no. Okay, I will run this code. See, what is it? Okay. Variable A might have been assigned already. It means you are doing the reassignation for the second time you're doing. You cannot do that. Okay, only one time it is possible. If you miss the declaration, you can do the assigning. You can do the assigning for once. One time it is possible. It doesn't mean like you cannot do it for n number of times. Only one time you can do. Go to the theory. For the non-static final blank variable, okay, if you are not initializing the variable, use the constructor. Okay, use the constructor and assign the value. Once the value is assigned, it cannot be changed. Same thing goes for what? The static blank final refers to a variable that is not initialized when it is declared. Blank final static or non-static that is not initialized when declared. But if it is static, we have an option to assign the value later, especially through the static blocks. It's just a manipulation. Okay, once the value is assigned through the static blocks, it cannot be changed. Right? So the idea here is very simple. The takeaway is, let me take these two things here. Okay, so this is, you can assign the value using static blocks only once. Only once it is possible. Right? Remove the static. You can assign the value using constructors. Using what? Constructors. Only once. Right? Now you tell me this is valid or invalid. Integer a, this dot a equal to 200. This is valid or invalid? Answer. Post your answers. Valid or invalid? Come on, everyone. Chaitanya, thanks for your answers. What about others? Valid or invalid? Valid or invalid? Or don't know? Make it fast. We need to complete methods also. Come on guys, everyone, Ratna, Chaitanya, Darshini, Samyukta, Jyoti S, Ganesh, Krishna Prasad. Am I audible? At least answer for this. This is invalid. Why invalid? Okay, already value is assigned. Value is already assigned, and again we are performing the reassigning the value. Impossible, error. Okay, if this is invalid, how to make this valid? How can I make this as valid? Just remove this. When you miss the initialization, okay, when you miss the initialization, you can assign a value in the constructor. This is completely valid, don't you think so? This is what we have been discussing so far. We are not answering. This is valid. According to our theory, this is valid. According to our execution, this is valid. Making sense? Right? One more question. The moment you change this to static, okay, the moment you change this to static, you cannot, even though you have missed the initialization, okay, but you cannot assign the value using the constructor. So this is completely invalid. This is completely invalid. If I want to make this as a valid one, I need to do what? I need to do, instead of using a constructor, I need to use the static block. I need to use what? I need to use a static block to do the initialization. Integer a equal to 200 in this case. I need to use the static block to do the initialization. Now this is what? This is completely valid. This is with respect to the static blank variable, static final blank variables. This is valid, this is invalid. Right? And this is also invalid. This one is also okay. Which is valid or invalid? You tell me now. With respect to the static final blank, static final variable, is this valid or invalid? At least answer to this question. Valid or invalid? I am saying it as valid. What you people say? Valid or invalid? Invalid. Good. It is invalid. Why invalid? Why invalid? Because so here we have already assigned, declaration is also done, and a value has already been assigned. Once it is assigned, that's it. You cannot do the reassignation. You cannot do the reassigning here. It's reassigning the value. It is not possible. Already assigned to a value to the final value. It is going to be constant forever. You cannot do any modifications. That's why it is invalid. Right? Now the next is final methods. Okay. So final methods, since I haven't discussed about the inheritance concept, okay, the concept of final methods will be discussed in the inheritance concept. And also we have what? We have final classes. We have final classes. And these final classes will also be discussed in on the inheritance topic that we are going to see in the future, within the next 7 days. Okay, because if I directly start introducing these two concepts, it will create a lot of confusion to you. I will cover along with the inheritance topic. I will cover what? Along with the inheritance topic. Right? That's it for the day. Do you have any questions? We have just completed the final variable. Don't worry about the final methods and the final final classes. Okay, we are going to see that soon. We are going to visit that soon in the inheritance topic. This understanding is mandatory from the interview point of view, or if you want to build any logic on top of final variable. Okay, that's all from my side. If you have any questions, you can post.